You hear the music. I don't know what that kind of mix came from in there, but here we are right now this morning, this afternoon, I should say. It is a Monday afternoon, folks. It is 5 o'clock in the east here, and I hope all around the world, if you're listening and tuning in, this is On the Record. I'm your host, Brian Summers. It is Monday. I feel good. I had a great week and a couple days out and off doing some things, and so I'm back. I'm fresh. Feeling good. I think I look good. I hope I do. If you're listening out there, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on LinkedIn, you're on Instagram. You get to see me and my smiling face, my bald head, and my traditional trademark, my blue blazer. Absolutely. I'm sporting it well. And I'm telling you, we're going to hit some things this morning. Going to hit some things kind of hard. And I want to know what you think out there because for a long time, I can say particularly here on my show, we've kind of not been anything. We jumped right into it when it came to talk about really the former. Many of you all know my background: 30 years on Capitol Hill, 2 years at the White House under Bush. But I want to ask because I see this build-up happening, and I'm going to jump right on into it, and we'll spend the entire time talking about it, but it is up to you out there, Mr. and Mrs. America. I want to hear from you, those here in Iredell County, in Rowan, Alexander, Wilkes, and North Mecklenburg, Catawba. I want to know what you think. And the question of the day I have, and I've thought about this all weekend, I was out in Middle America. I got to tell you, I was in Arkansas, and I was in Texas a little bit, Oklahoma, and so I say red meat America. I had some great times, some great friends, and some good brothers I met over the weekend while on travel. But I'm back. I actually want to thank my host who sat in, my cousin, Miss Keaton Leach. For sure that she sat in for me, and I am so very thankful. She's qualified and talented. But here's the question. The question I have, folks, is we've seen all this media build up for the last 9 months. Feels like it's been longer than that. And the question of the day is this, and I want folks to call in and share 704-873-1400. Do you think, and this is for my thinking fans out there, do you think, and is it possible that President Trump can get a fair trial here in America? That is the question. With the way that everything has been drummed up, it's the constant media drive, and I know that drives ratings and sponsors and all that, but are we doing our justice system a disservice when we constantly have opinions and not hearing a defense, not hearing all of the sides represented? And it's my opinion, and this is my show, so you're going to hear it from me. Very one-sided in a way. I don't know how this is supposed to be innocent till proven guilty when so much has been very much presented and pushed and talked about in such a way. I don't know. And I asked the question, and I want to know what you think out there. Give me a call, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. I want to know what you think. Do you think President Trump can get a fair trial anywhere, whether it's in Florida, Georgia, or New York? It's just, because, again, we cannot get away from this, which I will say this. I will give President Trump credit for this, for sure. When he called the media the enemy of the state, it is because I think that, unless we are doing a fair balance all the way around, we're really doing a disservice when we have folks who, I think, in my opinion, and but we really need to go with the facts. And I don't know. So I mean, I've thought about this while I was away. I thought about this, and I thought, I'm going to pose this question to listeners, but I really want to know, can he get a fair trial? And not just with the way everything's lit up. Well, I can tell you what, somebody's calling my line already here on the, this is the Statesville Family YMCA line. It's Monday. Let's see who's on the line. Good morning. You're on the air. This is Brian for On the Record. Good afternoon.
Hello, Brian. How are you this lovely day?
Well, we're pretty good here in America, and I say God's country because this is Iredell County, where I was born and raised. But who am I speaking with, and where are you calling from?
This is Terry, and I'm calling from Statesville.
Okay, all right. Well, good deal. How you doing, Terry? I'm glad you tuned in to the show. I guess you must have heard the question of the day, I hope. And do I need to repeat it for you or anything?
No, I got it. You're talking about the indictment he's going to be charged
Well,
under the Espionage Act. Is that correct? Over the
well, well,
documents in Mar-a-Lago?
well, I did not, to be fair, I did not go into specific charges. And my sole question was, can he get a fair trial anywhere in this country? If it had to be held today, can he get a fair trial? And that was so I didn't go into what the charges, because,
Right.
I'm not a lawyer. I had a better half's a lawyer, a judge. And so I don't have that. But my question is, can he get a fair trial? To me, that is what in my opinion, I think that Mr. and Ms. America need to really back up and sit and look and see, look at level of our land and see, we've never been here before. And my question again is, can he get a fair trial? I'm not looking at the charges. I'm not looking to debate the charges, but I just know that in the land where you're innocent till you're proven guilty, can he get a fair trial? What say you?
Right. And the reason I brought up the charges, because that already shows that he cannot get a fair trial, because there's not any consideration of indictment or charges against Biden, who had material stacked in a garage and other locations, and they're not even looking at charging him or bringing any charges against him, and they're looking at putting Trump under basically the Espionage Act just for that one thing. So no, sir, I do not believe in any way he can get a fair trial in this country, or at least at the way things are going right now. We have a two-tier justice system, and it is not working for the conservative people.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Terry, for your call. Anyone else out there want to join in before I get to a break on this side? Give me a call here. This is On the Record with Brian Summers. And yes, it's a hot button question. I've got some emails from folks out there, some of my brothers who I saw over the weekend. And so, again, I tune in and ask anyone if you'd like to give me a call here on the air. Let me know what you think. Tune in or call 704-873-1400. Do you think President Trump can get a fair trial anywhere in this country? That is the question today. We're setting it off here. It is Monday. It is On the Record, and I want to hear from you. Let's go on the record. Let's talk about this. Give me a call here at WSIC News Talk 1400, and on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter as well as LinkedIn. And so all those media, and I think even Rumble. I think our super producer may have told me that we have some presence on Rumble. If not, I know somebody up there in Alexander County who could surely connect me to Rumble. And I'm talking about, yeah. So she's pretty tough, and so yeah. So she's mother of the queen snakes, and so and she listens. She'll know exactly what that means, and I hope to hear from her. But anyway, the question today is: do you think President Trump can get a fair trial here in America, even if it had to be held right now, today, going forward? Can we find 12 impartial people who will want to do that, and we can make that happen? So, again, leading up to the break here, and you come back on the other side of the break. Let me know your thoughts here on WSIC. This is news it's on News Talk 14, On the Record with me. I pose that question, folks, because I was out in real America. I say real America, South America. I was out in the Southern and the Midwest over the past couple of days, and I met some fine gentlemen who really just, we talked about some things, talked through some things, and I was just, we didn't get really deep into the politics of things particularly, but the idea and the question did, and it has really been on my mind if this is what we have going on in America, because we are supposed to be the land where you are innocent till proven guilty, and that includes our former president. So you listen, this is Brian Summers on the Record. Come back on the side of the break. Let me know your thoughts. Let me hear from you. 704-873-1400. If you call in, I'll put you on hold till we get back on the air. Good deal.
WSIC
right. You know the music. You know the time. It is that day. It is Monday, and live here on the record with Brian Summers. I got a caller. Let's see if the caller is still there. Hello, caller. Caller, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Good afternoon. This is On the Record with Brian Summers here in WSIC. Are you calling in to share with us your thoughts on the question of the day?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. You want to identify who you are and where you're calling from?
My name is Harold, and I'm from Statesville.
All right. Good deal, Harold. Well, glad to have you. Thanks for tuning in here on the record with Brian Summers here on WSIC. So, Harold, that's the question. You know, I was with some gentlemen over the weekend, and I do say gentlemen, some good Southern gentlemen, and we had some good conversation. And I wanted to, thought I'd take this question back and just kind of put it out there and pose it. And I wanted to see. So, tell me, what are your thoughts on the question of the day? Do you think President Trump can get a fair trial anywhere in America with the way things have just proven not to work out? I mean, you're innocent till proven guilty, but you wouldn't know that from the media coverage.
How can anyone get a fair trial when he's being tried for crimes that were never committed?
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. But I think that in America, we have a lot of people who this tier system goes after and or put on, and they'll say that maybe what they didn't do or did do was one, but it just seems like they're running the clock up in a lot of ways in a lot of places, and they're proceeding, and I say that with getting as much out there in front of it. To me, in my mind, I think it's hard, and I think it's a little bit unfair to try to really do this with a former sitting president. I don't care what anybody else thinks. We've never done this before, and I think there may have been a much more appropriate grown-up adult way to look at trying to do this. I have an example to set before the world, and I think that this is not a good. I don't think, in my opinion, and and it's on the record, and I'm stating it, that I don't think this was the avenue we needed to go down to get this conclusion that some have already, trial, jury, and verdict already. And so, but it's where we are, and what's happening doesn't mean that it can't shake out. But I will tell you, I'm optimistic for something better than what's been shaken in the media.
Well, with what they're doing now, they're just showing that our country and our judicial system is no better than the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the way it's being pushed. But you know what happens really over there in the old Soviet Union. Although they've just sort of changed leaders, it's still very much a controlled communist socialist government. They push everything down your throat, controlled media in that sense. And there is no freedom of opinion or pushback. And this is free WSIC here. I can tell you, out on Radio Road here in Statesville, where free thinkers are where we are, and where what we sacredly say, we believe in Jesus Christ here, and so we stand by the flag, stand for the flag, and so I don't surrender to the thought that somehow we have to go down a different path and different road for different results. But Harold, I do thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you'll call in again and share thoughts, share ideas. More than welcome to chime in, or just call up and just want to have good conversation.
Okay, and in the meantime, what's going on in this country now makes me ashamed that I'm a veteran.
Oh, well, wow, Harold, I got to tell you, thank you for your service for sure, because my dad was a veteran, served in Vietnam, and the way things are going in the country, I can agree with you 150%. This is not what people put the uniform on, went around the world to fight for freedoms everywhere else in this country, in the world, and then not have the freedoms back here. And so, I completely understand, but I don't know. And maybe it's a question that I, get somebody on who is better engaged, as far as veterans. I don't know why things seem to be so tough of how we take care of our veterans. I think that our veterans, anybody that served and wore that uniform, really should be having, Rolls Royce service first red carpet all the way out. Healthcare, legal representation, mental representation, healthcare should be no question. Housing, there should be not one homeless veteran in this country. Male, female, period. Not the others. I'm talking about male, female. There should be not one male or female veteran homeless in this country or hungry. And I mean, I stand strongly by that. So, Harold, I thank you for posing the question. I thank you for answering the call and going on the record here with Brian Summers here at WSIC on News Talk 1400. What branch were you in, Mr. Harold?
Remember one thing, even though President Trump never wore a uniform, he was commander-in-chief, so he is a veteran.
Okay. All right. And, I will even, I'm not sure what the proper protocols are, but I know that when he was president of the United States, and I was a staffer on the Hill, again, he had that title and that position as commander in chief. And I am one to first tell anybody we have but one president at a time, and so I am for supporting because we have just one country, and we may not always agree all the time, and I most certainly did not like when the left went after President Bush about being a war president, going after him for Iraq and all just horrible things. And I did not like it when I know this is going to make people mad. I didn't like when they wanted to go after Obama. Impeachment is something that should never be done. We should stay far away from that. We have elections to remedy that. That is my position. That is my point. But Harold, I thank you for your service. What branch were you in, Mr. Harold?
Navy.
Okay. All right. The Navy. All right. You saw the world, I can imagine.
Well, I got to see Vietnam anyway.
Well, wow. Well, I thank the good Lord that you made it back here to these shores, back here to this country. Are you in Statesville?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. Very good. Well, again, thank you. And maybe look forward someday that our paths will cross and we can sit down and have a cup of coffee. I'm sure I'm buying. So if that's something you want to do or you want to meet me, say next Wednesday out at Randy's Barbecue downtown Statesville at 6:05, I'll be there and I'll buy you dinner, my friend.
Well, I appreciate that.
God bless you, Harold, and thanks for listening. All right, that's Harold tuning in, letting us know his thoughts. Anybody else is welcome to call us, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. Thank you, Harold. Thank you, Terry, for, giving us the discussion. And again, folks, this is not to belittle anything, but I want people to start thinking about all of what's going on. We've got to be able to take back some common sense, I think, in our country, and just really have some adult conversations. And so no president is perfect. No government is perfect. No people are perfect. And so but we've got to not always be looking for the got you moments, and that's not an excuse for anybody's behavior. That doesn't mean that I'm excusing anybody's behavior. I'm just saying, but I look to try to figure out what is the best for us in America. How do we celebrate the best in the country? How do we celebrate going forward with the best? And find out what you think on the side of this break coming up. Give me a call here, 704-873-1400, 704-873-1400. I put that out there because I really do want to know what you think. I want you to be able to call in. I want to hear from you. You matter very, very much. And so, give me a call. So I was hoping to hear from my good friend, but I see my Uncle Dwight has chimed in, and he didn't particularly like my question today, but that's all right. God bless you, Uncle Dwight. That's why you from Davidson. I know he going to get me about that one, but I chimed in to say that. But here, anyway, 704-873-1400. You can call in too, Uncle Dwight, and share all us good folks. Enlighten us folks up here in Iredell. Call in from, call in Uncle Dwight. My Uncle Dwight, people who really know me know I talk about him a lot, but he's near and dear to my heart, even though he may not agree with me on anything particularly, but, I'm right. And so he's coming around and slowly learning to understand that. No, I'm only teasing about my Uncle Dwight. I love him dearly. And so, but if you're out there real seriously, I do have that question, because there's a lot of media and people can get, formed opinions. I know that if I was in the hot seat, I would want to make sure that there was fairness. I know people who have issues within the legal system, and I worry that are they getting the fairness and not public opinion and not media opinion, but are they getting the judicial? Are they getting the right judicial representation and form of how we do things? And so, whether you for or against Mr. Trump, the fair question is, do you think he can get a fair trial here in America? That is the question, and I pose that with everything else going on. That's still going to be the question today. We're going to keep that out and on the table. But I just I wanted to share with you, if I could too, some of the things happening going on. I know we talk local politics here and a little bit national, particularly going on. I was talking about Biden. Didn't say enough about him, but apparently President Joe Biden is threatening to give pushback and he wants to veto a spending bill unless he can get his way, particularly with the House of Representatives and the Congress, that somehow he doesn't think that it's enough, and he's threatening to veto an agreement that he agreed to do. So he agreed when they sat down to have the debt settlement all worked out, and apparently he wants to kind of veto some of the spending things after agreeing to do those. But that's politics for you. That's going on. And so our thing is, I say this to Speaker McCarthy, that when you got to get in bed with folks who got fleas, you tend to scratch. So there you go. That's my opinion of that right there. But we're going to take a break here as we are mandated to do so. I don't particularly like mandates, but that's what the rules say I have to do. I got to obey laws too. This is Brian Summers. Thank you for tuning in on the record. And we're going to come right back on the other side of this break. God bless you. God bless America. You got the freedom to call me, 704-873-1400. All right. Take me out, music.
Local news and weather now on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. News, talk, now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. Cornelius Today reporting that 6 Charlotte-Mecklenburg creative individuals will receive
on the record. I'm not sure what happened to my music, but we're going to move right on ahead with the show. And thanks everybody for tuning in if you are. So, but yeah, so the question I had after, so I'm not going to use last name, but my uncle, no, he's not I hope he don't get upset. I didn't use last name, so they don't know who and where you are. But you know how important you are to me. It's just that I saw your note. Kind of giving me a hard time, and I want to get pushback because we got that kind of relationship. But moving right along, folks, again, I was hoping to hear with a calling guest who's going to maybe tune in and check out what's going on. I hope everybody can hear out there, and we're going good on. Looks like I got a call on the line. Hold on, let's see who this is. This is going to be on the record with Brian Summers. And the question today is, do you think President Trump can get a fair trial in America? Hold on. This is on the air with Brian Summers. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Brian. This is Doug Knight.
Hey, oh boy. All right, there. Well, you know, I was just reaching out to you. Really, this is a school board member, Doug Knight, here in Iredell County, who serves honorably on the Iredell Statesville School Board. And I can say safely that you are a friend of this show, as you are a friend of mine. That means you are a friend of this show, and you're welcome to be here, brother. And I am just delighted to have you on. I know your commitment towards kids and everything, but I really had posed a question over the weekend. I had was out really out in the Midwest and in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and North Texas, and we're having some conversation, and I kind of chimed in with a couple good brothers I was with, and we're talking about things, and I said, I don't know, and I say this that President Trump can get a fair trial in America with all of the media and with all of the coverage. And I said to people, no, I'm not trying to say whether he's guilty or innocent. My question is, can he get a fair trial? Because as I last remember, you are innocent till proven guilty. And I'm saying this, and it may make some people mad. Hell, I'm Brian Summers. I make a lot of people mad. So we'll just let it go at that. But and I pose that question: can you find 12? I mean, I served on a jury before, so I think we had I think we had like 14 or 16 people really, in case somebody for the jury pool, had to move out or something like that, and had a replacement. We pull them up from. But can we find 12 impartial people who can sit down and think about this, look at this, weigh this, and judge this in a manner that none of what they've heard or been exposed to in the media, can they say impartially they can make a decision on what's presented before them? And I know that, he has a right to a defense. I know that for sure that, all of what we've been hearing and getting is snippets of what the other side wants to put out. And I say the other side, I mean those who have been the prosecutors in Georgia, those who have been the prosecutors in New York City, and then the Department of Justice Special Prosecutor Jack Smith down in Florida. So we've not been able to find out, and and I know it's not really for him to take to the airways, because any lawyer is going to tell you, no matter what, however right or wrong you think you are, don't say anything, be quiet. And so I just think that when we cloud, I think it just bothers me that there's just so many opinions already formed. And that starts to become the lead of the day. And this, I think, and I think this, because Bonnie Willis is going to do this down in Georgia. The guy in New York is going to do anything. And my only thing is, those are just your legal opinions. But, in America, we should really work off the facts. And so, I think there was an old cliche, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. We really should work off of that. And so, not to get you into anything, you are an elected official. You serve everybody in Iredell County. You're on the school board. And I don't want to put that to you like that. So I appreciate you. And I do, man. I wouldn't want to do that to you particularly like that. But I do want to talk to you because, we're and maybe you can help, because nobody's really explained. There are a couple schools in the Iredell Statesville school system. I just learned this on Saturday, where some of the schools are getting free lunch. Can you kind of explain kind of what's happening? Because nobody else has put that out there. I mean, they said, this school's getting free lunch. But is it going to be all the schools, the 35, 36 schools in the system?
it's not going to be all. But before I go on, Brian, I just want to say thank you for being my friend and thank you for having me on. And I just want to thank you for the stuff you've done for the school system, the stuff you've done for students. I've seen you personally do for students, the readings you do in school. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but Brian goes in schools. He reads in schools every year. And you've been doing it for years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 13 years. 13 years. 13 years.
And
yeah.
And hopefully that inspires others. We've had some others reading in schools. If you want to come by, read in schools, that can help. I mean, we got to do a background check, and there's a process, but you know, it's a good thing. And thank you for what you do.
Hey, Doug, I got to say on that, when you said the background check, please let them know I passed.
Yes, you did. You passed out the background check.
Exactly.
I don't know about others.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because somebody's going to be doing, I don't know how he did that. Well, I tell you exactly. I went in with the same thing, including that thing where you say you got to use the bathroom. Yeah, I went into the all-male bathroom to do that too. But I just had to say that when you said the background check. Yes, I passed with all colors. So it's a funny thing is, you know, I've had security clearance while I was in D.C. At the White House. Everybody has to get one. And then when I come here and people say, well, I don't think you can pass the background check. And I'm just kind of looking at you. Okay, all right, there. Whatever you say, Rashad.
When I worked for a defense company, I had to have a clearance. So, yeah, I know about – I don't know what level you were, but I know the basic level clearance, yeah.
Yeah, I was a level 3.
I passed mine, by the way.
Everyone at the White House is a level 3, and so, but that was cool. I mean, they went through everything. That's good stuff, but there was nothing. I'm just glad I did. It was a good experience for me. But just talk to us a little bit about this lunch program I'm hearing about with schools.
From what I know, I don't know a lot yet. I talked to the superintendent a little bit today on it, and you know, I think he would be one with more you know, fineness of detail. But from what you saw, I think there's 17 schools. It may be expanded to 1 or 2 schools. I don't know. I think there's federal, state dollars involved. Where it comes from exactly, I haven't seen anything on it yet. It's the summer. You know, we conversate, but I think we're going to be getting a thing out in the emails soon from the superintendent to the board about this program.
Okay.
And I'm just glad we're getting it. There's a lot of kids that aren't being fed at home, and for various reasons. And you know, and you would hope. I mean, you grew up when you did, Brian. We're about the same age. You know, I remember when I was a kid. You know, you see the kids that you know that aren't eating good, and it's rough on them. And you're hoping, okay, by the time I'm older, we'll have this problem solved. And it's not, and it's still there. And even though our technology is advanced, you know, we've got, you know, the internet and all the other stuff, but that doesn't keep people from being hungry and not having food and being in situations where it's not a good thing for food. And you know, you got to have your basics before you can do everything else. And that's one of the things Maslow hierarchy of needs they talk about in education. And you got to have safety. You got to have food. And you know, for your kids.
Yeah, I think we're getting into a bad.
To be able to start learning.
Right, I think we might get into a bad area here, Mr. Board Member. But if I lose you because I'm coming
sorry.
up, that's okay. Hang tight. If I we go to a fast break, don't hang up. I'll bring you back on the other side of the break, and we'll wrap up, and you'll let us know about a little more about this program. So you're in good company. I think I see you pretty clear right now. But I'm come to a forced break that they almost give me. So, but we got a couple more seconds.
No problem.
I am talking with Doug Knight, who is a member of the Iredell Statesville School Board, and he has been on there for. Is this your first term? But what year are you in your second term?
It's my third year, sir.
Third year. Okay. All right. So and so that's an elected position. And so are you going to be up next year?
Yeah, I'm going to be up next year. The district's changed a little bit. I have decided. I'll let you break this. I am going to run again, and haven't said that publicly yet. But
Look at that!
Now.
Look at that! Look at that! You come on the record, and we get breaking news. That's what we are all about. That is the sole purpose. That I'm telling you, I got some guests lined up, some presidential candidates who are coming on here. They're going to break some information on the news, on the record right here. But I've got breaking news. School board member, Iredell Statesville School Board member Doug Knight has announced he's running for re-election. Nowhere else. He didn't do that in the fake news. He didn't do it in the States Record Landmark. He didn't do it on Fox News. He did it right here on the record with Brian Summers. Good deal. Hang tight, Doug. right, that is the music. And always tell when my intro is about to happen. This is On the Record with Brian Summers, and I had late breaking news announced on the record right here on my show. Nobody else on all of WSIC has had any late breaking. You're probably the first candidate, maybe the whole year of 2023, to make their announcement live here on the air. You're an incumbent. No, wait a minute. Hold on. You're an incumbent candidate. So you're the incumbent. Somebody else, I think maybe somebody out there, who said, "Oh, I'm gonna run," but until you're out there in the race, you just talk. You know me, I'm always gonna stir the pot.
It's work. I mean, the job is work. Running is work. I wasn't decided if I'm going to do it. COVID was rough, but we got through COVID. The system, I think, is heading in the right direction. The superintendent, Jeff James. Now, I reserve the right to say he's not doing a good job at any time, but I think he's doing a good job from what I've seen. And I don't agree with everything he does, most of it. And he's done I think he's made some good decisions. He's getting people together, getting them all going in. And that's the hardest part. He's getting them all going in one direction. And you can get everyone going in one direction. I think you can get a lot of good done. He cares about the kids. We've got a lot of programs for kids. You probably saw the Rockets, Rovers, and Robots things. I was involved starting up a few years ago.
Yes, absolutely.
And I went by there today. And saw them just for a few minutes, and just seeing the kids so engaged and the teachers enjoying it. It's really cool. And those are the things they remember. Yeah. School is. I look back at some of the things you remember the cool things you did, the things that really invigorate you, and they're doing stuff with the camps. Deborah Lester's doing the battle bots, and then we're doing some of the cooking camps. We're doing other things this summer,
right.
And it's not just the summer camps. We're getting everyone kind of going and working. We've got programs getting in place better, and we're efficient.
Absolutely.
You may have heard there's a neighboring school system that's in the red.
Okay.
We're not in the red.
Yeah.
And that's operations is a big part of the job.
Well,
I think with the administration he has, he's done good work with it.
Right. Well, as a kid who came up through the school system here in Iredell, Statesville, MB Mills, Mulberry, DMAT Thompson, Statesville, I could attest that public education is essential. It's important, and I'm not knocking choice. I'm not knocking charter schools. Had I probably been the one when they were growing up, I don't know, but I can tell you now that it takes everybody, and we should all work hands on deck to make our education pour into the future, pour into these kids. Stop by. Let's see what we can do to push and get them forward. And I mean, I was not an athlete and wasn't a sports star at all, but I was in the band, and I enjoyed being in the band. And so extracurricular activities, I will always be a supporter of. I'm a big fan of the literacy program and reading, and which happens there, out there at the Cloverleaf every year. Read Across America, been doing that with Bob Thorson for years. So those things. Good. And then when you brought your kids, you brought students up. I had never met you before. You was not on the school board, but you brought kids up. And the thing is, a lot of people don't know, I was a fill-in chief of staff in Congress, in the House of Representatives. And in our morning conference, we get a note of what's happening from the leadership, and there pops up West Iredell High School, and I'm like, what? Statesville, that's my hometown. So I remember going in and going to my administrative assistant, say, hey, look, find what this is. Who are these kids? And wherever they are, I'm going to go find them out. And I came over to the Senate side, sought you guys out, and said, you're from home, I'm from home. Now you guys are going to get the red carpet treatment. And I am so glad that I saw that and that, she connected and made it happen. You all made my days. Anybody that's ever came to D.C. while I was there always got red carpet treatment. Your food was on me. You had the lay of the land. And we took a rocket into the House of Representatives. That was fun. To the House floor.
The kids had a great The kids had a great time. They loved it, and thank you for doing that, because that made a big impression on those kids. I mean, it really, truly did. Those kids that year came in 12th in the nation in that Team America Rocketry Challenge. And just to give you an update, of those 4 kids that showed up, one this summer is out at Aerojet Rocketdyne working on Artemis moon motors out in L.A., California. Another's in the Air Force. One of those kids is doing computer engineering in Huntsville, at University of Alabama, Huntsville. All West Iredell kids.
Wow.
And the fourth one is doing biology and doing very well at it at Lenore Ryan. And the one that's out working on rocket motors this summer as an intern, is also at Lenora, and he's majoring in engineering physics.
Well, you know that fourth one is actually my cousin, Josh.
Yep, Josh. Yep.
Those lackeys are everywhere. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, though. But I mean, listen, I thank you so very much, board member, and I tell people too, we're not perfect people, and I know people, get all worked up arms, they're offended by something or whatever. Everybody's so easily offended, but I say things I feel like sometimes on this airways, I offend people every day, and then I go home and I say my prayers. I say, please forgive me, and I say my prayers, and they may not hear it, but I do really try to do better and come back in here and be the best that I can be, the best example, the best American with good character, with just good, being a good neighbor, and really being a good host here on this area. We'll have airways again. I believe in building bridges, and so you are one good friend that I'm glad that I've been able to build a relationship with. I have seen you out there, not just sitting on the dais, making decisions. You have been in the classroom, in the field. You're not afraid of communities. And so my thing too, I even think I know where you go to church at, but I won't put that out there because I showed up one Sunday and you were there. But all the best to you and your family. I did meet your daughter when you brought her to church that Sunday, so I have a good memory. Yeah. And so, but look, we
high school this year.
Oh wow, okay. But this is board member Doug Knight with the Iredell Statesville School System. I had a question today out there, and I won't pose that to you because I don't think we're going to answer that. Now listen, what your answer? This is not an official position from the school board. It is not an official position.
Only me.
It is only me.
No,
hey, look here, I like only me's coming on the record. Tell me your position, brother. Let me hear you.
Okay. I think he can get a fair trial because I believe people in this country want to, and you got to get away from the places where the politics is a religion. Because for a lot of people, politics on the right and left, it is their religion. But for people, there's a lot of good people just trying to make things better, want to do their civic duty, and they would give President Trump a fair shake from either side. Now, I think that can be whether it's independents or someone that leans right, leans left, or leans right. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of good people. You just don't hear about them. Gotcha. They don't make the media. They're not making TikTok. They're not getting out there on Twitter or whatever and being some media social influencer.
Right.
But there's so many good people who are just trying to get by. And I see them in the school system. I see them talk to the school system when we have our public comment time.
Okay.
Yes, he can. My worry, honestly, Brian, isn't so much the jury. It's the prosecution and the system. Can they run it down the middle for President Trump? Will the system be fair to President Trump? With discovery, and I know that's in the legal weeds, but if that's fair, I think, and I'm not going to prejudge. I'm fairly conservative with my politics, but let's do a trial. Let's do it the American way. Let's have a trial by our peers, and let's do it right, and not influence them. Let them see all the facts, and let them make the decision. And I think people are basically good. I really do.
All right. Well, good. Look, that's what we do here on the record. I appreciate you sharing your opinion, not the school board.
Yep,
your opinion. I appreciate that. And so you're a little optimistic. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You're chiming in on that.
I'm optimistic because when I see a lot of good people, they're just trying to make it by and make good things happen for themselves and the people around them. And that's most of America. You just don't see it in the media. That's just my opinion.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, very good. This has been Doug Knight. This is On the Record. And I appreciate you calling in and sharing. And your breaking news that you're going to be seeking re-election here live on the air. On WSIC, you did it on the record. Man, listen, brother, your stock went way up with me. I appreciate you calling in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm just thankful I'm able to serve the people of Iredell County. I really am.
Well, very good. Well, we thank you, and thank you for your service. Keep on doing what you're doing. Folks are watching, people looking. I enjoy you. I'll see you at the polls, my friend. God bless you. Thanks a lot. Doug Knight, Iredell Statesville School Board, right here on the record. Breaking news. All right. So you heard some good news there. got some house cleaning things I wanted to do and share. Got some birthdays. Some I missed from yesterday. Some I missed from one here on Friday. But I tell you, the first one up is going to be my Aunt Mabel. Anybody knows me knows I talk about my Aunt Mabel, and my Aunt Mabel is very special. And let me just say this: somebody made an issue when I said my favorite Aunt Mabel. I only have one Aunt Mabel, so of course she's my favorite Aunt Mabel. If I had two Aunt Mabels, I'd have to pick between the two. But she's my favorite Aunt Mabel, and I have a favorite Aunt Sheila. I have a favorite Aunt Faye. I have a favorite Aunt Seal, and so my favorite aunts. And I have Aunt Barbara as well, and Aunt Paulette. Those are my favorite aunts. So anyway, so just share that with you. But also birthdays, we look at it. Bob Thompson Thorson, her birthday was yesterday. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday to you. My friend Lori Holland over there at Western Avenue Baptist Church. Today is your birthday today as well, too. We got Allison Kendall. Her birthday is today. Sabrina Allison, birthday is today. Barbara Robinson, my cousin on my Likey side up there in Alexander County. Barbara Jean Robinson, happy birthday to you, cousin. And Mary Catherine Harbin, my horse riding friend, happy birthday to you as well. So we have some good birthdays going on. Let's see, what do we got else here? We got other folks. Jennifer Sarver. We have Latara Tiata Fells as well. Good birthday. Missed yesterday, I can say my good buddy Mark Lawrence and my cousin Sonny Turner had a birthday. Amanda Freeze, happy birthday to you as well. Terry Holloman, happy birthday to you. So we get them in here, folks. If we get some birthdays, I'll always try to shout you out. You really matter. Sandra Turner Lassiter down there in Alabama. I met some good people from Alabama this weekend. Happy birthday to you. God bless you in so many ways, in all the ways for sure. We got birthdays that were yesterday and today that I might have missed. I don't know what my son. Adrian Williams with the Temptations. He is the guitar player for the Temptations. His birthday is today as well. So it was yesterday. Adrian Williams with the Temptations, my friend, my buddy, and the band